recruit. I am a CL4PTP steward bot, but you can just call me General Claptrap of the Crimson Raiders.
Hello and welcome. I'm CloaknDaggerish, and on this week's game review, I'm looking at the recently released and highly anticipated Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3 is the latest installment of the Borderlands series. It is the newest game since the pre-sequel, which was released in 2014. Now, Borderlands games have quite the cult following, and they've been very popular over the last couple of years. That it's really defined the looter shooter genre. It really set the cornerstone for that, and they haven't changed it a whole lot. They stuck to the same formula that the Borderlands 1 and 2 was built on, and I like how they really just refined the game. They made it Borderlands 2 but better. Some of the things they did is they really worked on the gunplay, the feel of the guns. The guns feel much better. They all feel more unique. They all handle a little bit differently. They're very well polished. There was a lot of time and effort put into the gun development in this game, and it really shows. A neat little feature is if you favor a certain manufacturer, whether it be Jacobs or Dahl or whatever, Maliwan, if you use that gun long enough, you will receive random guns in your email from the gun manufacturer, which is kind of a neat little feature. Speaking of neat little features, something that Borderlands has always done is it's always been a great game to play with your friends. They've always had a split screen feature, and they have kept it, and the game has always been co-op. They have now added a new cooperation mode where you and your friends can play in the same lobby, but you can be playing at different levels, and the enemies will be matched to your level. So if you're level 5 and your buddy is level 20, you will be fighting level 5 guys and he will be fighting level 20 guys, even though they're the same enemy. It's a neat little feature that they've put into this game. Also, the loot is individualized, so you don't have to fight for the loot in the chest. You each get your own guns at your own level. This is also something that's really, really cool. It works really, really well. I really enjoy it very much. Other things that they have changed and made better. In previous installments of Borderlands, you were restricted to the planet of Pandora. And for the most part, especially Borderlands 1, Pandora consisted of a brown, blah wasteland. In Borderlands 3, they have now, you start out on the planet of Pandora, but you now fly to other planets, and the terrain is much more diverse. There's a metropolitan city on one planet. There's another planet that is a dense green forest jungle. There's even one that takes you to a moon-esque scene where there's low gravity, kind of similar to the pre-sequel. So they've really changed up the whole map, which is very refreshing. Kind of getting sick of looking at Pandora. As much as I love it, it was getting a little hard on the eyes. Speaking of being hard on the eyes, they've added new skins for our new characters, as well as new vehicles and vehicle skins. They've added a couple different vehicles. My favorite being the big single-wheel cycle is a lot of fun to roll around on. It's pretty fast. I had a lot of fun driving that around. The graphics overall are really decent to look at. They're not high-end graphics, but that's partly because they have kept their same comic book graphics that they've had through all the installments. It's very iconic, and it's something they've really pioneered and have made themselves known for. I mean, when you see a Borderlands game, you know it's Borderlands just because of the way they animated everything, and it's something really neat that they have done. The new characters that they have added, I really enjoy. They did, of course, keep the favorited Siren class, which a lot of people love. Zane is a combination of the Soldier and the Digi class from the pre-sequel. He's a lot of fun to play with. He was the one that I mained through the campaign the first time through. They also have Flak, who is a Beastmaster. He tames different monsters from the planets, and he uses them to help him fight the different enemies you encounter. And then finally there is Mose. She is a soldier and commands a giant mech that she jumps into, and you can equip it with different guns like rocket launchers and a minigun and a railgun. And that one is also a lot of fun to play with. I played around with her a little bit as well. All the new things that they've done to refine the game are outstanding. It's a very fun game to play. They've made it very, very fun. Where the game starts to fall short is around the story mode. The story it's all right. It's fine. It's got some decent character development, but overall, it's there. A big issue I had with it is the villains. The villains in Borderlands 3 are, to say the least, they're pretty lame. Unfortunately, they have to live up to Handsome Jack, who was a fantastic villain in Borderlands 2. And unfortunately, they just can't live up to his legacy. I found the Calypso twins, who are the main villains in this game, to be cheesy and fairly annoying, to be honest. A lot of their jokes were pretty lame, even at times cringeworthy, and it was hard to get into the story because of them. I felt like it was a big issue. The missions that go along with the story mode are all feel very much the same. It's a lot of run here, shoot these guys, and then come back. It doesn't have much more of a variety than that. There's a couple little twists on it, but for the most part, that is the essence of the game: is run, shoot, run back. The boss fights, on the other hand, there was some very good, very fun boss fights in here where you had to strategize a little bit and figure out how to beat them. It wasn't always just shoot them in the face. It wasn't always necessarily the correct answer. Sometimes you had to figure out patterns to avoid getting decimated from their massive attacks. There was a little bit of strategy, and they were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the boss fights in this game. It was something that was done very well. Once you do finish the game, the main story, which will take you roughly about 30 hours, depending on how many side missions you do along the way. If you do all the side missions, it's going to take you a little bit longer, but as far as the main story goes, that's going to take you roughly 30 hours. But after that, like previous Borderlands games, there is plenty of endgame content, which I love about this. You get a lot of bang for your buck. As always, you have True Vault Hunter mode, which you can play through the game a second time, and it just makes it harder. More enemies, they're more aggressive. Then you can dial it up even further by adding the Mayhem modes. There's, I believe, 4 different Mayhem modes, 1 through 4, and that just dials it up even harder. Not only do you have all this endgame content, but you also have the 4 characters to build, all of which have 3 different customization trees that you can build on. So there's lots to explore there, and I'm looking forward to digging into that deeper and maybe making some character guides later on. Overall, this is a fantastic game that I feel that every looter shooter fan should at some point in time pick up and play. It's a great addition to any gamer's game collection, and it's definitely worth playing at least once. If I had to rate this out of 10, I would give it a 9 or like a 9.5. Despite some of the issues that it has with the storyline, the gameplay is fantastic. It looks great. It runs pretty smooth for the most part. I know some people had issues with the Elite consoles, and some of the guys on PC as well had some issues a little bit. I played it on the first-gen Xbox, and I had no issues with it for the most part. It's just a very, very fun game. It keeps you coming back for more. And this is going to wrap it up for this week's game review. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my future gaming content. I'm CloaknDaggerish, and until next time, you have a good one.